Welcome to the Empowered Mind podcast with Joelle and Natalie Rivera. We are on a never-ending quest to master the power of our mind, develop a growth mindset, and explore the leading edge of positive psychology and human potential so we can take radical personal responsibility for creating our destinies and reaching our potential. So in this episode, we're going to talk about why wanting to win can actually be what's holding you back. And so it might be a little bit counterintuitive because we come from cultures that push us to want to be the best, to want to win. But the problem is that from a young age, we're taught that we're supposed to do something for that reward, for that accolade, for the approval of other people. And so it actually ends up squashing our passion for doing it in the first place. And so a really good example of this is in schools. So kids naturally are curious and they enjoy learning. But as soon as we start to train them that the whole purpose of their learning is to get a grade, or we train them that the whole purpose of participating in a sport or doing something is so that they can win some sort of an award, then instead of just enjoying the process and doing it because they're curious and they love it, or they enjoy the sport that they're doing, they become obsessed with being the best. And then when they're not winning, it makes them unhappy. And so it actually demotivates them from doing anything at all.
And I'd like to add that it's not about that you shouldn't have challenges, that you shouldn't strive, that you shouldn't try to improve. But really the concept is that for many people, they see themselves, if they fail, then there's something wrong with them. Then they're not good enough. Then there's something that, to their society, the people around them, then they're going to think less of them. But the reality is that if you look at every single successful person that's made it, whether it was in business, whether it was the creator as creating something in particular that should change or revolutionize the world, one of the things that they embraced was failure, because they knew that failure was just an opportunity to learn and to grow and to develop. And that's really what it comes down to, that sometimes in our own societies that we've pushed people to see failure as a negative thing, without seeing that if I don't win, it doesn't mean anything less of me. It's just an opportunity for me to grow. And at the same time, if I see all my interactions as a win or lose situation, you're not really growing from that situation. You're not really looking at the other person's point of view and seeing what can I learn from them? What can I do to improve myself?
And so if you're focused on winning and being the best and you don't think that you can, then you develop a fear of failure and you don't even try. And so that's why there's so much wasted potential in the world, because people aren't going and doing what they love or what they want because they're afraid they're not going to be good at it or the best at it. And the truth is that those people that Joelle was talking about that are successful, they had to fail their way to that success. And so there's nothing wrong with striving for greatness and wanting to be the best at what you do. But you want to be aware of the fact that when you have that as your goal, if you don't allow yourself to fail, if you don't learn from your experiences, and if you're disappointed every time you're not absolutely 100% the best, and you don't channel that disappointment into something, then you're never going to feel good enough. So you might create epic success and be completely miserable.
And we've met a lot of people that we work with, for example, that you will look at them and from the exterior, they are very successful, whether it's financially, whether their career or whatever it is. But if you really talk to them, they don't feel like they're enough. They don't feel like they've actually accomplished anything. And they don't feel true happiness. Why? Because they get to a certain spot where they say, okay, I need to do this, or I need to win in this area of my life to truly be successful, to feel like I'm successful. And then they get there and then they find another goal. They find another step that they're looking at. Well, if I'm not there yet, then there's something wrong with me, or I'm not successful until I get to the next step. So the point being is that you have to look at life as a growing opportunity, as a growing experience, and know that failures and challenges and all those things are what's going to help you improve to really keep developing yourself in every aspect of your life.
And so when we say that wanting to win can hold you back, it can happen in two ways. Either wanting to win and feeling like you can't will literally hold you back from trying to do the things that you like. And on the flip side of it, maybe wanting to win is going to make you try really, really hard, and maybe you'll even win, but it's going to hold you back from your happiness unless you really check in with yourself to make sure that you're not telling yourself that you can't be proud of second place, that you can't look at your failures and instead of seeing them as you being a failure, seeing them as a growth opportunity. And really what it comes down to is that the point we're trying to make is even if you are someone who's highly ambitious and you want to be the best, that's fine. But you want to make sure you have a drive that is stronger than just your drive to win.
Yep. And one more thing is it really comes down to the need for perfection. And that's what people look at a lot of times when they talk about winning. Like, they want to feel like they're winning, but they're trying to strive for something that's called perfection, which does not exist. None of us are perfect. In our lives, we're all going to fail. We'll all make mistakes. We'll all have to learn from those experiences if we're open to learning. But the only way that you're really open to learning and to growing is to not have a fixed mindset of winning or losing. When you realize that there is an in-between, that in-between is where we find ourselves, where we can truly grow from every experience, whether we win or not. Because let's say if you're competing in something, you can still win and still look at that opportunity as what can I do to continue to improve and grow. It doesn't only have to be when you fail. It's just recognizing that's just part of our journey and evolution as human beings, is that it's not just about winning. It is what we're doing with our journey that really counts.
And so really, did we come to this earth to prove to other people that we're the best? Or did we come here to have a good time? Because if you're only trying to be the best, then you're living your life for everybody else, not yourself. Because the truth is that you came here to enjoy yourself. And so we hope that bringing this up gets you to really think about your motives. What do you really want? What is it that drives you? And if you feel like you don't have a lot of drive, then it could be because you're expecting yourself to win.
And also consider, what can I learn from my past failures? What blessings and opportunities, and how did those failures give me purpose? How sometimes maybe I didn't win the way I wanted to in a specific aspect of my life. Or sometimes even in a conversation with an individual where I've been able to step back and instead of looking at it from a win-lose situation and really look at it from a win-win situation. Because that's what it really comes down to. Somebody else does not have to lose for you to win. Sometimes you win more by having everyone win.
Thank you, fellow Freedom Junkies, for listening. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. And if you want to help us grow, please rate and share this podcast. You can also become a member of Freedom Nation. Visit freedomorbustpodcast.com and sign up to receive access to exclusive content and take the 21-day Happiness Challenge. As you know, we believe that entrepreneurship is the ultimate form of empowerment, which is why we created the Side Hustle Business Startup course for anyone looking to create their own income and take back their power. We offer an exclusive discount for our podcast listeners. Find out more at freedomorbustpodcast.com.